Hello, I'm George, and 2024 is at an end. I've been busy playing games all year, and I've played a lot from 2024 this year, and a lot not from 2024 this year, so I've decided to split them into two lists for my top 10. The first list I'm going to do now is games that were not released in 2024, but I played for the first time, or near enough the first time. Okay? Number 10. Number 10 is called Boso Convoy Densetsu, or Big Mother Truckers, if you're in an English-speaking area. This game was a huge surprise to me. I picked it up not knowing anything about it, and it's basically Crazy Taxi, but with trucks. You have a mini America, and you can take on your own jobs. You buy your goods from the dealer, and you take them somewhere to sell them. And you have to remember what the prices are like in each of the cities so that you can get the best deal. A really cool little game. Number 9 is Resistance 2. I had played the heck out of Resistance 1. That was one of my favorite PlayStation 3 games. And I love it, despite its jankiness and the stretched in field of view. Resistance 1 is a great game. And I finally got around to beating Resistance 2. I had tried, I think twice in the past to do it, but it doesn't have the charm of being in a very unique setting, which was England and some of the countryside in the UK. But still, it was really great. I like the weapons in this series. It comes from the creator of Ratchet and Clank, and you can really tell because of how inventive the weapons are. And great set pieces, and a real gem. I really liked it. The next game I don't have a box for because I played it on PC, but that's The Rise of Tomb Raider, which naming conventions are bad in this series. It's the second game. I've played the first one when it came out on PS3, and I tried to play The Rise of Tomb Raider but fell off it. This time I powered through to the end, and I really like it for what it is. It's basically a Metroidvania Tomb Raider. You're given fairly open zones and skills, and you have to go back to places you haven't been before and to use your new skills, all that. It was a really great game in a very unique setting, and I really liked it. Number 7 is my most conflicted game. That's The Last Guardian on the PlayStation 4. Now, this one, I was talking to my friend about this when I finished it, and it's one of his favourite games, and I said, it's either a 2-star game or a 5-star game. There's no middle. Basically what I'm saying is the game is amazing, unique, and mind-blowing, but at the same time it's super frustrating. You have the Toriko, the pet that's with you, the giant monster who's friendly towards you, and most of the traversal and puzzles involves like getting him to do things, and he sometimes straight out refuses to do things. You could say this is because he is a wild animal, and just like animals and pets, they don't do as they're told. That's part of it. It's kind of like a simulation, but at the end of the day, you're sat there calling him over, and he's too busy playing about with a barrel that he's found to listen to you, and you're just stuck there until he decides to listen to you. However, it is fantastic, and it's one of those games, it's from this Team Eco, of course, one of those games that really moves you and you won't forget. So, here it is. Number 6 is Blur. This is called Blur Races in Japan. I had played this, I remember playing this when it first came out, but I think I just put 2 hours in and stopped, and then sold it. This time I made sure to do all the challenges and get to the end of the game. What this game is Mario Kart with licensed cars and neon lighting. It's got all the power-ups that you expect, so the equivalent of a red shell, the equivalent of bombs, the equivalent of like a blue shell, which comes down in the form of lightning. And it's great because of all the licensed cars. There's hundreds of them. It's a really fun game. I had to play on easy. Even easy was challenging. But yeah, this was really fun to beat. Okay, number 5 on my list is Railgrade. This game I don't have a box for because it's on Steam. Railgrade is kind of like Factorial or Satisfactory in that you are creating a production line, but you're using trains. And these trains can be this small, or they can stretch on for miles and miles. And it's quite fun and really satisfying to see your factories kind of come to life in your production line. you know, you take coal to the steel factory, and you also need iron to come to the steel factory, which produces steel, which then you send to the computer manufacturing factory, but that also needs circuit boards and copper. So everything comes together. At the end you have to produce something like microchips or something, and that's your goal, and you've got all these trains going around, and it's just very satisfying to watch, and I really liked it. Alright, number 4 is Burnout Legends. I got this right at the start of the year because I thought I'd do a year of PSP games, so I built up my PSP collection a bit. What Burnout Legends is a compilation of tracks from 1, 2, 3 and maybe further, I'm not sure. But it's just great having this. I played this on the sofa while my wife watched TV a lot last year, and yeah, it's really fun. There's not much to say though, other than I kept it in my PSP, and I loaded it up whenever I needed to, just for some racing fun. Number 3 is Etrian Odyssey on the DS. Now, I've only just started playing this, and I'm about 15 hours in. But it shot up the list straight away. This is a very addictive first-person dungeon crawler. So the way it works is you start a blank slate character, and you pick... Your party can have up to 5 characters, and you choose their class. And they also start level 1. These characters don't have personalities or things to say. They are just your characters as you go into the dungeon. And the game goes from you are in a town, and then you pick up some missions, and then you go in the dungeon, you fight the monsters, you progress, you come back and sell your stuff, and you repeat. I think where it shines is its difficulty. It's a cliche, isn't it, to say the Dark Souls of, but it's kind of like the Dark Souls of RPGs. It's so unforgiving. And I had to look up a guide just now when I was playing it, because I was having trouble with this boss, and I'm level 13, 14 right now, and it says you should be level 17, 18 to beat this boss. So I know what the next 3 hours of this game are going to be, just repetitive grinding, leveling up slowly, but that's what it's about. And I love to throw on some music or a podcast and play this type of game. I love this, and I am aware that there's many more in the series other than the first one. And also the Wizardry series. I heard this is the best Wizardry game to start with, even though it's not a Wizardry game. But yeah, totally amazing. I've been missing out on this for years. Okay, number 2 on my list, again, is a Steam game, so I don't have a box. It's Marvel Midnight Suns. I started playing this right at the end of 2023, and then played it January, February time. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but what is the game? Well, it's a strategy game at heart, which is based on cards, which is probably why it was hard for them to market it. I don't think many people have heard of Midnight Suns, but basically you go on missions, and you have the famous superheroes from the Marvel catalogue, including ones from X-Men, because Wolverine is in there, and that's great. It's not connected to the movies, it's kind of its own thing. How does the card game work? Well, you have various attack cards. There's no real movement issues in the game. Everything is based on these cards, and you can level the cards up, you can get new cards, swap in and out cards. There's a lot of risk reward cards where, say, Wolverine as a character revolves around stealing health from enemies, because he doesn't have many shields, but he's got tons of health. His moves take health, and then you need to recover health like that. There's Captain Marvel, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Blade, and then more that I've forgotten now, but just the characters that you choose to go into battle, it really makes up the strategy. It was really challenging, but just as the base game of using cards to attack, it's represented in a 3D world, but it might as well not be, because again, you're not really thinking about movement. Any character can kind of move anywhere. It's not like other Firaxis games. The other part of the game is you've got this giant mansion in the countryside in Salem, where you can talk to the members of your team and kind of romance them in a way. Although it's not breaking canon, so you're not really romancing them. You're just becoming better friends with them. But you can give them gifts, and if they like you enough, they'd be like, hey, you want to hang out, just me and you? And you go fishing with Wolverine, and and then he says, I really like you as a friend. And that's great, and you get bonuses from that. There's tons to this game. I just mainlined the story the best I could because it was fairly long, but really fantastic game, and I totally surprised by it. Alright, before I say my number one for this list, I want to talk about two disappointments that I had this year. Both early on, I believe, but I made sure to write them down so I didn't forget. The first one was I decided to play a game called Anthem. Now, I know Anthem doesn't have a good reputation, but it looks cool, and you play around in a mech like Iron Man. That's cool, right? And it was on the Series S, it was on Game Pass, so nothing to lose. I downloaded it, it was huge, and then I played it for a bit. And you know, the first couple of missions, really fun. They're showing it off. They're showing off what you can do and your skills. It's just a cool jetpack third-person game. I decided to go offline the best I could. You can't not be online in this game, which is why it was frustrating. I just remember maybe I put 2 hours in and I was on a mission, and just by myself. I don't allow anyone in my party or anything, so it's solo, which is fine. That's how I like it. And I remember the doorbell went, so I went and got the package that I received from the doorbell and unpacked it and then sorted something or other. I was really only gone maybe 10 minutes with it paused. I came back and it said I'd been kicked for inactivity, which led me to instantly uninstall the game. That's not cool. That it's a old game and no one's playing it, and I just paused. I shouldn't be punished for that. I get it that this game is online, but not everybody wants to play online, and it works perfectly fine as a single player game. It really frustrated me, and it actually links to my second frustration, which is I bought a game in early 2023 and I was enjoying it, and then I was playing it, on and off, and then I went to launch it and this game told me, I'm sorry, you can no longer play this game, it's now gone, which I've never ever seen before. I've heard about this kind of thing. Well, sorry, the game I'm talking about is The Crew. I picked it up I'm assuming I picked it up in Steam sale at Christmas time maybe, and right now they're not much. They're 500 yen, so not much money. And I played it and it was great. It was a podcast game. I ignored the story and stuff. I didn't even know it was online only. I didn't bump into any other players. It just felt like a Burnout Paradise just expanded to the United States. And I know it's an old game, but to be told the game that you bought, you put a couple of hours in, sorry, but it's no longer available to you. It felt very unfair, and it left a very bad taste in my mouth for Ubisoft. And I think a lot of people felt that. There was nothing wrong with The Crew. I know these games are built with infrastructure that demands them to be online, which is fair enough. And we can't expect every game to have an offline mode if that's the case. But I don't think The Crew needed to be online. Burnout Paradise, one of the best racing games, you can toggle online and it works fine offline. And so did The Crew. It's a real travesty that The Crew is not available anymore. It worked perfectly fine. And even if they said, well, look at the fine print, it says this is an online only game. It's like, yeah, but it didn't need to be. It was fine, and I wouldn't have noticed even if it was online. I'm the type of person who turns off online if I can. I want to be alone. I don't want to mess with other players, unless it's specifically like something like Call of Duty or something. Yeah, but anyway, they're my two grievances from this year. Now I can tell you about my number one game of the year. Not 2024. And that is Pikmin 4. I think this is a 2023 game, I believe. I didn't play it until my birthday. I got it on my birthday, which is in June of this year. And Oh man, it's really amazing. Basically, the gameplay hasn't changed. You have this new dog now. He's called Ochin in Japanese. At least I know he has a different name in English. All your Pikmin jump on his back. You can traverse the landscape way quicker now. There's things like bridge building, and Pikmin now collect this currency as well. There's lots of jobs for them to do. They've expanded the roster. Now you have ice Pikmin. Ice Pikmin can, if you throw enough of them into water, they freeze it over. That's cool. All of the Pikmin from the previous games are back. There's also a tower defense mode which takes place at night. That's pretty fun. You use a special type of Pikmin for that. These little glow-in-the-dark ones. I would say the downside is they got rid of the campaign multiplayer, which was really fun. And actually, I really like switching between characters. It means you can do more multitasking. Nevertheless, this game was fantastic. I really appreciate the attention to detail and in the environments, and you finally get to go inside a house. It reminds me of like something like Sim Ant or something, or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, because you're inside a house and you're these little bug-like creatures, of course. Yeah, and it's really good. There was some really cool bosses in this one. I remember there's this one boss which is like a big spider, like a daddy long legs, and there's like this horrible hardcore techno music that plays, and it makes your Pikmin freak out, and it was a real surprise. Actually, one of the best things of this game was the dungeons. There's a ton of these dungeons, which are these little drains. And there's always been dungeons in Pikmin, but these ones, they were so fun to go down, you know, and it was kind of optional at a point to get treasure, because the game is slightly easy, and it also gives you the option to rewind if you lose a bunch of Pikmin, which I never did. You got to play hardcore in Pikmin. So I'd say it was easier, but it was nice. It was very long for a Pikmin game. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. There's also a 2-player battle mode, which is insanely fun. It's so silly, and it's the type of thing where you can screw each other over right at the last minute with a bomb or something, just knock out the entire army of your enemy. Yeah, this is my number one not 2004 game of the year. Alright, thank you. That was it. Now I'm going to move on in my next video to the 2024 game of the year. So please be sure to watch that too. Alright, thank you.